At his home in Lutherville,
Just miscellaneous lights and a thermometer.
Ben Donovan has a basement full of Boh.
Looks like the bottom of a keg barrel.
From Boh bottles to Boh lights to even a Boh cart. His love for Natty Boh beer runs skin deep.
And at first I was like, oh, another thing, but it's neat.
It represents Baltimore. It represented our NFL teams, our old Oriole teams.
National Bohemian Beer. It was first produced in Baltimore more than 120 years ago. It was the hometown beer that made Baltimore a believer.
That generation were loyal.
Jerry DiPaolo began working at the brewery in 1947.
That was the beginning of one of the greatest periods in my life.
In his 29 years, DiPaolo watched as sales soared.
This is the first beer that went into the stadium.
In the 50s, it seemed national beer was everyone's beer. In fact, 60% of all beer sold in Baltimore was Natty Boh.
But in the late 60s, competition moved in. The National Brewery began to struggle. And by the mid-70s, squeezed by high cost, the brewery on Brewers Hill shut its doors.
I probably get anywhere between 10 or 15 emails a week from people asking us where they can buy the beer.
Natty Boh is now brewed in other states, but its following is still here.
He's just part of the city. That's what Natty Boh is. Mr. Boh is part of Baltimore.
Last year, Todd Unger purchased the merchandising rights to the beer's one-eyed logo, and in his Fells Point store and on the internet, he's moving shirts and hats, glassware and cigars. The Natty Boh logo is creating a whole new generation of fans.
Thanks for coming in. It's amazing how many kids I hear go, Mr. Boh!
In Brewers Hill, the old brewery is being transformed into office and commercial space. Across the street is a Natty Boh lounge, and high above, Natty Boh is watching.
It sure is a miracle.
At 83, Jerry DiPaolo is gratified to see Natty Boh hasn't died.
Very gratifying. Very gratifying to me. And I'll tell you something. We worked hard.
But after all these years, there is that one jingle DiPaolo can't get out of his head.
National beer, national beer. And while I'm at it, I'd like to say, of the Chesapeake Bay.
From one generation to another, there's no forgetting national beer. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News at 10.